If you want to be more efficient and effective while experiencing more inner peace, then working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a Band-Aid is vital. Welcome to LifePix University podcast. I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve.
So, you're good at seeing the big picture, but do you actually see the details? Do you see the steps needed to accomplish your goal? That's what's coming up next on the LifePix University podcast, episode 383. But first, want a super easy to understand, super easy to implement resource on cognitive functions? I've got you. Grab a copy of your essential guide to cognitive functions at lifepixuniversity.com/guide. For today's real life challenge, imagine you are working on putting a live event where everyone from your community will get to spend a day together, learning, networking, and bonding. You have all these great ideas, but sometimes they look like they're just not going to happen, and it's super frustrating. You might be struggling with see the big picture if you're struggling with the cognitive function, with the thinking skill related to collecting precise and accurate information. Well, actually, it may be more than one of the cognitive function because there are 28 of them, but that's the one we're going to focus on today. It's the first step. Really, collecting precise and accurate data is about gathering all the information you need to do a task. When you're really good at seeing the big picture, many times you know what you want, but you don't know what you need in order to be able to do it. If you start by getting the right information, you can begin figuring it out. So to get better at gathering the right information, you'll want to before you start any task, big task, little task, train your brain to ask yourself, do I have everything I need? What do I need so that way this task goes well? How could I get all the information I need before I start so everything just runs smoothly? Number 2, when you are working on your big goal, when you have your vision, your live event, your book launch, a sales page, even just like a meeting that you have with your employees, ask yourself, how can I break this down into smaller steps? What are the parts here? What's the information here? What do I need? This is the big thing, but what's the information underneath that's going to help me get to that big part, right? We're breaking down to the steps to get to it. Number 3, this is one that I hope doesn't get your nerves too much. But the information that you usually think doesn't matter, or you usually think is just a minor detail, is what you are training your brain to find. Ask yourself, why will this help you achieve your bigger goal? Remember, we want to work on what you're good at. So your brain likes big pictures. Your brain likes big goals. So use that to help you. Ask yourself, how will it help me do what I want to do? How will it help me see the big picture? Number 4, reminder from last week, is use the words zoom in and zoom out, because when you use labels, it makes it easier for your brain to remember. Today, we spoke about zooming in and finding the details. Many times, this comes from the cognitive function of collecting precise and accurate information. Get better at it by, before you're starting a task, ask yourself if you have everything you need. Break down your big goal into smaller parts. Number 2, remember the details that you usually think are just minor actually matter. And number 4, use the words zoom in and zoom out. Your challenge this week is to do one of the 4 tips we discussed. If you think you're really good at it and your brain collects information really well, it may be better for you and more of a challenge for you to go back and do the tips in last week's episode 382, where we spoke about zooming out and seeing the big picture. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next week.
That's all for this episode of the LifePix University podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Have an awesome rest of your day and grow those dendrites.